Part 202. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2011. Chapter 2011. Then go and accompany your wife. I think there must be a reason. Although you said it was for business reasons, since the beginning of the cooperation, the Mo family and Gong family have never encountered anything that required the cancellation of all cooperation. You use this reason to perfunctory grandma won't believe it. The two families have always been on good terms, but now that something like this has happened, it is impossible for the old lady to just ask and settle the matter. She didn't believe any of the reasons given by Mo Yesi. So I called him over again and asked him privately. Mo Yesi looked at the old lady and was silent for a while. Well, there is a reason. Mo Yesi didn't intend to hide anything from the old lady. Grandma, this matter does have something to do with me and Mian. It has something to do with me and Mian. The old lady was stunned for a moment, and then her face changed. What does it have to do with me and Mian? Grandma should know that the Gong family and the Shangguan family intend to marry. The old lady nodded. I've heard about this. The two families were interested in marrying each other, and Shang Guanqing was also willing to marry Gong Zili, but Gong Zili rejected her. Mian had some scandals with Gong Zili before. The reason why Mrs. Gong and Shang Guanqing General Gong Zili refused to marry, it's Mian's fault. So when Mian went to a mountain village to record a show, they arranged for a local old bachelor to do something against Mian. Of course, the matter was a close call and the man did not succeed. After he was arrested by the police, he confessed to Mrs. Gong and Shang Guanqing. Grandma, they used such vicious methods against Mian. If I can endure this tone and pretend that nothing happened, who am I, Mo Yesi? Would you like to see your grandson so bloodless? What, they actually did such a thing to Chiao Mian, the old lady said in shock. Cancelling the cooperation with Gong is on the one hand to vent Mian's anger, on the other hand, it is also because some cooperation between Mo and Gong did have some problems. Only by terminating the cooperation in time can the losses be minimized. It's not a decision I made impulsively. Grandma, from the moment you and Dad decided to hand over Mo's family to me, I knew what kind of responsibility I had. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I won't risk the future of the Mo family casually. The old lady was silent for a moment and nodded. Of course I feel relieved about you. What the Shangguan family and the Gong family did was indeed excessive, but I don't think you should do it too badly. You did something wrong. As a palace lady, there must be punishment for the palace family, but it must be appropriate. Even if the two families cannot continue to be friends in the future, don't become enemies. Well, Grandma, I know. Okay, then you go and accompany your wife. Asterisk. Later, Chiao Mian and Mo Yesi left after dinner at Mo's house. Back to Lushan Villa. Chiao Mian took a shower, put on comfortable home clothes, and lay on the bed reading her script. Phoenix Flying is a book written by a gold medal screenwriter in the industry, and its quality is very guaranteed. Chiao Mian was fascinated just by reading the script. So much so that she didn't notice that there was another person beside her. It wasn't until the side of the big bed slightly sunk in, and the faint scent of shower gel from the man penetrated her nose, that she realized and turned her head. Mo Yesi, End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2012. Chapter 2012. Chapter 2012. Be good and see you tomorrow. Mo Yesi held her chin and kissed her gently. What kind of shower gel are you using? Why does it smell different from the one I use? Where, there is something different. They obviously used the same bottle of shower gel. They are all lemon flavored. It smells different to me. Why do I smell peach? Chiao Mian. Mo Yesi, I still need to read the script. The phone was taken away immediately, and Mo Yesi turned off the lamp on the bedside table. The man's voice was soft and seductive, "Be good, and we'll see you tomorrow." Asterisk. The next day. She finished washing and went downstairs. "Young madam." Ryan stepped forward and said respectfully, "Young lady, do you want to have breakfast now?" Chiao Mian nodded, and Ren immediately asked people to prepare. After breakfast, Chiao Mian was thinking about whether to go to Mo's to find Mo Yesi, when she received a call from Linda. Mian, there is a charity party today, do you want to go to it?" "Charity gala?" "Well, it's an annual charity gala held by Yue. Many artists will attend. I received an invitation letter and invited you to attend tonight. The time is about 8 o'clock in the evening, it will last 2 hours and end at 10 o'clock. Let's see if you can go." Because Chiao Mian had already told Linda that she was going to rest for a while and not to accept any work for her during this period. Chiao Mian instinctively wanted to refuse. After all, she has promised Mo Yesi that she will not take any more jobs during this period. It can be a charity party. She hesitated. Linda seemed to have guessed what she was thinking, and continued, "This charity gala is the largest and the most influential of all charity galas, so its influence is also very large. My suggestion is, if you have time, you should go and participate. It's only 2 hours, so it won't take up too much time. You can discuss it with Mr. Mo." "Okay, Sister Xie, I'll tell you after I've decided." If it were to attend another party, Chiao Mian might have refused. But she knew about Yue's charity gala. Although this charity gala has been commercialized until now, it has indeed helped many people in need. And the 2 hours really didn't take up much time. Chiao Mian thought for a while and decided to ask Mo Yesi for his opinion first. If he didn't want her to go, she might not go after all. Chiao Mian asked Uncle Li to prepare a car and go to find Mo Yesi. Arrived at Mo family. After she arrived upstairs, Wei Zheng came out to receive her. "Young madam, Mr. Mo is in a meeting and it may take a while before he comes out." Wei Zheng followed Chiao Mian into the office. "Young madam, have something to drink, I'll prepare it for you." Wei Zheng was called by Mo Yesi to receive Chiao Mian. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2013. Chapter 2013. Do you have anything to do with Mo Yesi? He is Mo Yesi's special assistant, so he must be present during meetings. Chiao Mian smiled, found a seat and sat down. "You can go to the meeting and don't worry about me. It's not my first time here, so I don't need anyone to accompany me. Go out and tell the secretary that I want a cup of cappuccino." "Okay, madam, if you have anything to do, please tell the secretary." After Wei Zheng finished speaking, he exited the office. Chiao Mian took off her shoes, sat cross-legged on the sofa, took out her mobile phone, and pulled out the downloaded script from a reading app. She read the script for a while, then heard a knock on the door. She thought it was the secretary who had made coffee, so she called in. The door of the office was pushed open. The secretary walked in on high heels. A strong smell of perfume drifted over. Chiao Mian frowned when she smelled the perfume, and raised her head strangely. The reason why she felt strange was because she smelled the perfume. Mo Yesi has requirements for his female secretary. Secretaries are not allowed to wear perfume. Chiao Mian has been here many times before, but she has never smelled perfume on the secretary. She looked up and saw a woman walking in. The woman is wearing smart business attire, a blue suit and suit pants. Her legs are very slender and she wears high heels, which makes her body proportions very good. By visual inspection, he is about 1.7 meters tall, and his appearance is very capable and elegant. At first glance, she looks like a career woman. She also had a briefcase in her hand. After walking into the office, she saw Xiao Mian sitting cross-legged on the sofa. The moment their eyes met, the woman was obviously startled. It took a few seconds for the woman to react. She looked at Xiao Mian's sitting posture and frowned. "Where's Mr. Mo? Who are you? Why are you in Mr. Mo's office?" Xiao Mian. It should be her turn to ask this question. Who is this woman? Why did you come to Mo Yesi's office? Xiao Mian blinked. Who are you? Do you have anything to do with Mo Yesi? Hearing her call Mo Yesi by his first name, the woman frowned even more. It seems like she thinks she is very unruly. The woman was silent for a few seconds, and said with dissatisfaction on her face, "I'm here to discuss business with Mr. Mo. I have something to talk to Mr. Mo about now. As for what I have to do with Mr. Mo, I'm sorry, things in the business world are inconvenient. Tell outsiders." Xiao Mian. The woman's intuition makes her feel that this woman seems to be hostile to her. Where this hostility comes from, Xiao Mian doesn't know yet. "Oh, that's it." Xiao Mian nodded, smiled at the woman, and said, "Mo Yesi is still in a meeting, and it will be over in a while. Do you want to wait for him? Don't be polite, find it yourself. A place to sit." The casualness and intimacy in Xiao Mian's words seemed to make the woman even more full. He saw the woman's face stiffen for a moment, and then her eyes became much sharper. He stared at her and said, "Who are you?" "Me." Xiao Mian smiled and did not reveal her identity. She just smiled and said, "I also came to him to discuss business. No, I knew he was in a meeting, so I was waiting for him in his office." The woman saw her beauty and couldn't help but feel a little hostile. Looking at her casual posture, as if she were at home, and the intimacy she revealed from time to time in her words, especially when she called Mo Yesi by his first name. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2014. Chapter 2014. Are you talking about this face? The hostility deepened. Originally, I was still guessing about Xiao Mian's identity. Now that she heard that she was the same person who came to discuss business with Mo Yesi, her tone couldn't help but turn cold. She took a look at Xiao Mian's clothes, and her sharp and unkind gaze fell on Xiao Mian's beautiful little face again, which astonished even a woman like her. A hint of jealousy and dissatisfaction quickly flashed through her eyes. This little girl, I don't know which company she belongs to. Looks like an intern who hasn't graduated yet. The company would actually send such a little girl to discuss business with Mo Yesi? Does she look like she is talking about business? Are you talking based on this face? Thinking of this, the woman couldn't help but have a bit of contempt in her eyes, and her tone was a little bad. "Miss, since you were arranged by the company to discuss matters with Mr. Mo, you represent the image of your company." She glanced at Xiao Mian with disdain and curled her lips in displeasure. "Do you think this is your home? Do you think it's appropriate for you to sit like this in Mr. Mo's office? What's inappropriate?" Of course Xiao Mian could see the contempt in the woman's eyes, and she could also feel that this woman disliked her very much. She didn't explain her true identity. She raised her lips with a hint of playfulness in her eyes, and said lazily, "Of course you have to sit and wait for someone. Do you still have to stand and wait? Come and sit too, don't stand all the time, aren't you tired?" "You." The woman frowned. "This is Mr. Mo's office. You are too casual. Mr. Mo will come over later and see you like this. He will be angry." "How could you be angry?" Xiao Mian found it a bit amusing to see the woman's angry expression. She had a bad taste, stretched out her hand to touch her chin, looked at the angry expression on the woman's face, and said with a thin smile, "I've always been like this when I came here before. He didn't say anything about me." The woman opened her eyes wide with a surprised expression on her face. She looked at Jiao Mian in disbelief. Have you been like this before?" "That's right." Jiao Mian shook her legs. "Mr. Mo didn't say anything about you." "Yes." Jiao Mian nodded again. The woman looked at her again, her eyes were colder and sharper than before. I don't know if it was Jiao Mian's illusion, but she felt that the hostility in the woman's eyes was a little more intense. Such a strong hostility made Jiao Mian feel very baffled. She thought, she didn't know this woman either. This is probably the first time the two of them have met. She couldn't understand why this woman looked at her like an enemy. The woman stood there without moving, her brows furrowed tightly. She came to Mo's to discuss matters on behalf of the company before, so she had met Mo Yesi several times. Mo Yesi gave her the impression of being a very cold person, and also a person who was difficult to get in touch with. In my impression, Mo Yesi spoke very little. When I communicated with her, I didn't spend more than 10 sentences from beginning to end, and most of them only responded with one word. He was also a very courageous and aura man. Every time she saw him, she didn't dare to look at him, because once she looked at him, the coldness in his eyes could freeze people into ice. It is really unimaginable for women. How could such a man tolerate other women being so unruly in his office? End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2015. Chapter 2015. It's like being slapped on the face. How could he not mind? Unless. The woman's eyes once again glanced at Jiao Mian's delicate and beautiful face, as well as her fair and breakable skin, with a hint of jealousy in her eyes. But she felt. Mo Yesi can't be such a superficial man. Having a crush on a woman based on her looks. He should be a man who pays more attention to women's inner qualities and talents. After all, no matter how good looking you are, if you have no actual talent and an empty mind, you are just a vase that is of no use. With this thought in mind, the expression on the woman's face looked better. Just when she felt a little more comfortable, the office door was pushed open. The woman was happy, thinking that Mo Yesi had returned from the meeting. She quickly adjusted the expression on her face, and raised what she thought was the most beautiful smile on her lips. Then she restrained her inner excitement and turned around cautiously. Before she could say Mr. Mo, she was stunned when she saw the person walking in, and then quickly put away the smile on her face. The person who came in was Mo Yesi's secretary. Bringing coffee to Jiao Mian. The woman glanced at the coffee in the secretary's hand, thinking it was brewed for her, and said with a smile, "I don't like coffee. If I drink it, I will have insomnia at night. But I still bother you, by the way, Mr. Mo, when will the meeting end?" The secretary was stunned and looked at the woman who was talking to him with an inexplicable expression on her face. But he still replied politely, "Mr. Mo is still in a meeting, and it may take more than 10 minutes for the meeting to end." "Oh, that's how it is." The woman nodded, looked at the coffee in the secretary's hand, thought about it, and said, "Forget it, just give me the coffee. It doesn't matter if I drink it once in a while." As she said that, she reached for it. The expression on the secretary's face finally became a little unbearable. "Sorry, this is not the coffee for you." "What, this isn't," the woman was stunned. The secretary felt embarrassed and walked past her, handing the coffee to Jiao Mian who was nesting on the sofa. "Ms. Jiao, your coffee is ready. Please try it to see if it tastes right. If not, I'll make you another drink. Besides coffee, do you need anything else? I'll prepare it for you right away." The secretary's attitude was very respectful in front of Jiao Mian. This is completely different from her attitude when talking to the woman just now. The moment she saw the secretary bringing the coffee to Chiao Mian, the woman's face felt as if someone had slapped her face, and her expression suddenly changed. Looking at the secretary's respectful attitude and what she said to Chiao Mian, the expression on the woman's face became even more ugly. Because she has been here several times. The secretary has never been so polite to her. She looked at Chiao Mian with an ugly face, opened her mouth and was about to speak when she heard footsteps behind her. Then he heard the secretary shout respectfully, "Mr. Mo. Is Mo Yesi here?" The woman turned around excitedly. When she saw Mo Yesi, her eyes lit up and she took 2 steps towards him. "Mr. Mo." But Mo Yesi didn't even look at her, but walked directly past her. He walked up to Chiao Mian, and regardless of who else was in the office, he bent down and picked up Chiao Mian from the sofa. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2016. Chapter 2016 is that Mr. Mo's girlfriend? He lowered his head and kissed her on the lips. Are you bored? Have you been waiting for a long time? Fortunately, I just waited for a while. Didn't I say you still have a while to finish the meeting? Why did you end the meeting early? My baby is waiting for me. Of course I have to end the meeting early, Mo Yesi said and kissed her gently on the lips again. Chiao Mian felt a strong gaze on her back. She stretched out her hand and lightly beat Mo Yesi's chest. Don't be like this, there are other people in the office. Let me down quickly. Mr. Mo. The secretary was already used to the affection between Mo Yesi and Chiao Mian. She glanced at the woman next to her who seemed to be a little blue, thought about it, and reminded her, Mr. Mo, Tianzhen's assistant Yang is waiting for you. It's been an hour. Mo Yesi gently put Chiao Mian back on the sofa. Turning around, he glanced at the woman standing behind him. The tenderness and doting he had shown when facing Chiao Mian suddenly disappeared, replaced by his usual indifference and alienation. Take Assistant Yang to the living room. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Yes, Mr. Mo. The secretary walked up to the woman with a polite smile on his face. Assistant Yang, please. The woman looked at Chiao Mian sitting barefoot on the sofa, and heard that Mo Yesi asked the secretary to take her to the living room, and she couldn't help but feel angry. Mr. Mo, I have something very important. Take Assistant Yang to the living room. Mo Yesi frowned. The secretary didn't dare to delay any longer and immediately said to the woman, Assistant Yang, let me take you to the living room. If you have anything to do, you can talk to Mr. Mo later. The woman wanted to say something more, but the secretary had already opened the office door and asked her to go out. She looked at Mo Yesi's cold but handsome face that made her heart beat. She clenched her fists, turned around and walked out of the office reluctantly. Asterisk. As soon as she left the office, the woman couldn't wait to ask the secretary, who is that girl who has a close relationship with Mr. Mo? Do you know her? The secretary turned her head and glanced at her, feeling a little funny. But there are very few women who have seen their Mr. Mo, especially unmarried women, who will not be tempted. After all, for an outstanding man like Mr. Mo, how many women can guard their hearts and not be moved by such a man? It's just that the woman next to me seems to be a little too obvious. The secretary secretly sighed. Another Luohua has a heartless heart. Then he looked at the woman next to him with some sympathy. That's Mr. Mo's girlfriend. Mr. Mo loves her very much. Mr. Mo's girlfriend is very fond of her. Pretty. If I had such a pretty girlfriend, I would definitely love her. The face of the woman next to him suddenly froze. Is that Mr. Mo's girlfriend? That's right. The secretary pretended not to know what she was thinking and said with a smile, his girlfriend often comes to the company to see him, and everyone in our company knows her. Miss Jiao is very nice and pretty. He has a good personality and has no airs in front of us. We all like her quite a bit. Every time she comes over, if Mr. Mo is in a meeting, he will end the meeting early. He can't bear to keep her waiting for a long time. Moreover, Mr. Mo will ask us to prepare a lot of delicious food in advance, because Miss Jiao comes to eat. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2017. Chapter 2017. What else is there besides a face? Mr. Mo really dotes on Miss Jiao, and we all envy Miss Jiao. Yes, really. Yes. Mr. Mo looked cold and indifferent. At first, we all thought that he would never dote on women. We didn't expect that the more a man who looked indifferent could make others dote on his own woman. Crying with envy. The woman beside him was silent. The secretary glanced at her and said, looking at how close Miss Jiao and Mr. Mo are, they may be getting married soon. Hearing the word marriage, the woman seemed to be a little unable to bear it. I heard that Mr. Mo's girlfriend is a female star, is that true? Yes, Miss Jiao is from the entertainment industry. Given Mr. Mo's family background, it's impossible for him and his girlfriend to get married. The Mo family is a famous family, and Mr. Mo's family will definitely let him find someone who is well matched. How can a secretary not know what he is thinking about finding a woman? She smiled and directly shattered the woman's hope. If it were someone else, he might have listened to his family. But Mr. Mo is a very independent person, and his family can't control him. If Mr. Mo wants to marry Miss Jiao, this thing should be possible. The woman next to her almost fell down after hearing these words. Arrived at the living room. The secretary stopped. Assistant Yang, go inside and wait for Mr. Mo. Mr. Mo must have just met Miss Jiao and wants to talk to her. I'm going to work first. If anything happens to Assistant Yang, you can come to me. After the secretary finished speaking, he turned around and left. The woman stood in the empty living room, thinking about what the secretary had just said, and thinking about the scene of Mo Yesi hugging Jiao Mian so intimately. Her face turned blue. She never thought about it. Such a man actually has such a tender side. He would actually look at a woman with such loving eyes. She thought that such tenderness and doting would not be possible in a man like Mo Yesi. But that woman. What else is there besides a face? Are all men in the world so superficial? Even Mo Yesi is no exception and will be confused by the appearance of a beautiful woman? Asterisk. In Mo Yesi's office. Jiao Mian was still beating Mo Yesi's chest. What did you just do? Your secretary and clients are here, don't you know how to avoid suspicion? Mo Yesi grabbed her soft little hand and chuckled, why do you have to avoid suspicion? I kissed my wife in my office. What is there to avoid suspicion? Others should also avoid suspicion. Jiao Mian. I booked a restaurant for tonight. The new chef is good at cooking. After dinner, I will take you to do some fun things. Mo Yesi told her the evening's arrangements. When the time comes, Xiaoqing they are here too, you haven't seen them for a long time. After listening to his arrangement, Jiao Mian hesitated whether she should tell Mo Yesi that she wanted to attend the charity gala. If she is going to a charity gala, she cannot have dinner with him. You can't play with him either. Because she had to do her styling a few hours in advance. Mo Yesi has already arranged the time for tonight. Based on Jiao Mian's understanding of him, he must have put a lot of thought into arranging it. If she can't go. What's wrong? Do you have something you want to say to me? Mo Yesi looked at her expression of hesitation and raised his eyebrows. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2018. Chapter 2018 really ate him to death. There is one thing. Chiao Mian bit her lip, hesitated for a few seconds, and said cautiously, but I think you will be unhappy if I tell you. Mo Yesi smiled, what's the matter? You don't want to tell me what job you took, do you? Chiao Mian. She felt that she couldn't hide things in front of Mo Yesi. What was she thinking in her mind? This man guessed it right away. She pursed her lips and said nothing. Then I saw Mo Yesi frowning. The man's deep eyes narrowed. Have you taken on another job? No, I didn't. Chiao Mian hurriedly explained, it doesn't count as taking over work, but it will take up time in the evening. I may not have time to have dinner with you tonight. What's the matter? Mo Yesi's tone seemed calm, but Chiao Mian could feel that he was obviously a little unhappy. Chiao Mian bit her lip gently. Sister Xie called me and said there was a charity gala tonight. It is the largest charity gala in the industry and is held once a year. Half of the artists in the entertainment industry are going to attend. This charity evening has a great influence, and then I was invited. I think it's okay to go if we can help more people through the appeal of our artists. I think it is quite meaningful. But I haven't promised Sister Xie yet. I said I want to discuss it with you. If you agree, I will go. If you don't agree, I won't go. Chiao Mian looked very well behaved, as if to let Mo Yesi made up his mind. Mo Yesi. She seemed to respect his opinion and value his thoughts. So the decision-making power was given to him. Mo Yesi also believed that if he really didn't let her go, she wouldn't go either. But whether she would be happy if he really did this is another matter. The man was silent for a while. Really want to go? Chiao Mian nodded first and said yeah, looked at his face, and immediately added, but if you don't want me to go, then I won't go. I don't have to attend. Mo Yesi almost wanted to laugh. This little thing really devoured him to death. I do this to him every time. It seems to be very well behaved, but in fact I am using this roundabout way to force him to agree. But Mo Yesi had to admit that he did this. If he didn't eat, the little thing next to him wouldn't use the same method on him several times. It was like she would act coquettishly with him every time she made him angry or wanted him to agree to something. The same methods, he is also aware of these methods, but in his case, they are always tried and true. This little thing understands him thoroughly. How long will it take to go? Just a few hours. Chiao Mian's eyes lit up when he heard this question, and she immediately said, just taking up some time in the evening. The party will end at 10 o'clock. After the party is over, we can go have a late night snack together. If it only takes up time in the evening, Mo Yesi is not unacceptable. Thinking of the careful arrangements for the evening, he frowned. I can agree to let you go. But how many times will such an accident happen? If I also arrange our date next time, will anything happen again? Cancel. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2019. Chapter 2019. Chapter 2019. Whatever you want to eat, I can afford it. It won't happen, it won't happen. Chiao Mian immediately assured with a good attitude, I promise it won't happen. No matter what happens next time, I will push it aside. Can you keep your word? Can you be trusted? Of course it counts. Husband, you should have more trust in me. Am I such a dishonest person in your eyes? Mo Yesi, what do you think? I think you should believe me. Chiao Mian got into his arms, sat on his lap, hooked her arms around his neck, with a soft light in her dark eyes. This time, I am breaking the appointment. In order to express my love, sorry, can I treat you to dinner tomorrow night? You can call the young master and the others to join us. I haven't seen them for a while. You ask me. Well, let me treat you. Jiao Mian is now a rich woman with a large sum of savings and a lot of real estate. She feels that she can afford a meal no matter how expensive it is. Mo Yesi raised his eyebrows, as if he was very interested. What do you want to treat me to? Anything is fine. Jiao Mian patted her chest and said generously, I can afford whatever you want to eat. Well, you can afford whatever you want to eat? Of course. Jiao Mian smiled at her and said with a bit of pride in her eyes, I have a lot of savings now. No matter how expensive a meal is, I have no problem. So, I can eat whatever I want. Right. Jiao Mian looked at the man in front of her who was serious when talking to her, but was not serious at all. She didn't know what to say. Mo Yesi, a man, is really thick-skinned sometimes. Okay, go see your client quickly. Jiao Mian reached out and pushed him, don't make them wait too long. Asterisk. Living room. Mr. Mo. The woman sitting inside heard the noise, turned her head, and watched Mo Yesi walk in. The woman's heart beat faster. Tugged at the corner of his clothes nervously. Mo Yesi nodded towards her and found a seat to sit down. Then, in a business-like tone, have you revised all the plans I proposed before? Mr. Mo, everything has been revised. Please take a look at it. The woman suppressed the emotion in her heart that was almost unbearable and handed over a plan in her hand. When Mo Yesi reached out to take it, the woman's eyes fell on his slender porcelain-white fingers, and she couldn't help but feel a wave of emotion. A good-looking person even has good-looking hands. Mo Yesi took the document, read it for 2 minutes, and then put it on the table. Just follow the plan above. The woman's face showed joy. Does Mr. Mo think this plan can pass the test? The woman couldn't help but feel a little proud in her eyes. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2020. Chapter 2020. She has a bad temper and is jealous. It is well known that Mo Yesi's job is demanding. But she was able to get Mo Yesi to finalize a plan so quickly, which also showed that Mo Yesi recognized her ability. She pursed her red lips and said, okay, I will arrange for someone to do this as soon as I return to the company. Mo Yesi didn't seem to be very interested in what she said. After confirming the plan, he stood up and said, that's it? Wei Zheng will hand over the follow-up work to you. After saying that, Mo Yesi turned around and left. The woman couldn't help but feel a little panicked when she saw him leaving like that. It was also because of this plan that she was able to meet Mo Yesi directly these few times. Once the plan is finalized, she will have no time to meet him again. Mr. Mo. Seeing that Mo Yesi had walked to the door, the woman put one hand into the pocket of her suit and called to someone in a hurry. Mo Yesi paused for a moment, but did not look back. Mr. Mo, I went abroad on a business trip and visited a local antique store. There were many good things in the store, so I bought some to give to my friends. I think a tie clip would suit Mo anyway. I also bought a gift for Mr. Mo. I hope Mr. Mo won't dislike it. The woman took out a beautifully packaged black box from her bag. In the box, there is indeed a tie clip, which is also a little old. She spent a lot of money to buy it. The gift for Mo Yesi should not be too tacky or too cheap. She went to many stores and selected for several days before she chose such a gift. However, what she just said was not entirely true, and she also told some lies. She only bought gifts for Mo Yesi, not for friends. She said that she also sent her friends as gifts, just to prevent her thoughts from being too obvious. I don't mind it. Mo Yesi was silent for a while at the door and then said. The woman was stunned for a moment, then a look of ecstasy appeared on her face. Just when she was about to speak, she heard Mo Yesi say something else in a cold voice, I don't have anything to dislike about what I don't want. Mr. Mo. The smile on the woman's face didn't last for 5 seconds before her face became a little stiff. Assistant Yang, our relationship is limited to cooperation, and we are not familiar enough to give gifts. I hope you will not do such misunderstandings in the future. I don't care, I don't want my baby to misunderstand you. She has a bad temper and loves to be jealous. If she misunderstands that I have something to do with another woman, I won't be able to calm her down for a long time. After finishing speaking, Mo. Yesi left the living room without looking back. The woman behind him was left standing there with a pale face. Asterisk. After 5 o'clock, Linda came to pick up Chiao Mian. After getting in the car, Linda told Chiao Mian about the upcoming arrangements. I'm going to do your styling now. Once done, go directly to the charity gala. We will be walking on the red carpet, and there will be many female stars vying for beauty. You have to dress up tonight a little brighter. This is your first time on the red carpet. You don't want to be the best, but you want to pass the test. You can't leave anyone with anything to say. Chiao Mian nodded. Well, Sister Xia, just make the arrangements. Mr. Mo doesn't have any objections, right? Linda was more concerned about this. He didn't blame me for arranging things for you again. No, he supports me very much. Chiao Mian lied without changing her expression. That's good. Linda was relieved. I'm just afraid that Mr. Mo will think that nothing will happen to me. End of this chapter.